Hi, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Carrie Psychic Cafe. I am Carrie-Anne Hartley, your host here at Carrie Psychic Cafe. It is a one question and answer. I have 4 awesome guardians, and my ability is to hear and be able to help the world. I just wanted to tell everybody tonight is an unbelievably, I am so blessed to have a show like going to have tonight. Our special guest tonight is Andrea Perrin. She is not just an amazing, talented woman. She is my friend, my mentor, everything that I could ever ask for in someone that would be able to guide me and help me in anything. We just had a conversation before the show, and I just wanted to let everybody know that it's going to be quite different tonight on the show. Okay, Andrea is going to be speaking. She'll be coming on at about 8:15, and she's going to be speaking about 25 minutes about her journey, all the wonderful ability, everything that she had going on, the Conjuring, the books. The 3rd book is coming out soon. But what we wanted to do a little bit was to give whoever is watching tonight and is out there, I wanted them to give a little bit of, what is it, like let them know a little bit about Andrea. So we've put together something that we like you to listen to, so once we'll get to that in 1 second. I want to thank everybody that's in the chat room. We have our staff there, and that's Suziani and also Aunt Joan. We have Amnon. Hello, Amnon.
Hello, how are you? You
awesome.
Look beautiful.
Thank you. And then we have wonderful Nick answering the phones. And I think tonight the special treat that you're gonna get tonight is that after Andrea's done with her 20 minutes, my mentor is gonna be answering questions too. We're gonna flip back and forth. And tonight, everybody in the world that's watching, thousands of views, you're gonna actually have an opportunity to ask Andrea a question. And whatever comes out, whatever she feels that she could help along with me and everything like that. I want everybody to know and to let everybody understand that this has not been done before. So that's because my mentor has given me the okay to make it happen. And just a little willy wind up here. Our number is 323-792-3050. I'll be saying it more often, okay? And also we're going to do I'll be in Salem, Massachusetts at the Festival of the Dead for the Psychic Fair, October 1st to November 4th. All month long. Tom is an open rental. You can take them. You do whatever you want. You can keep them for the month if you like. And if you need to know a little bit more about Tom looks like this. So that's open an option for you. And also, the ground rules are always as follows. 1 question per person. Newbies in the room get their questions answered first. The Newbies, I love you with all my heart. Please help everybody in the room. Help everybody, okay? Tom's here. Hey, Tom.
Hey, hello.
Hello. So let's get rolling here because we have, and again, this is going to be a little bit different show because I know you're used to a certain way, okay, and you're used to everything. And also, what I like, and whoever's just listening and watching, I wish you wouldn't do that, call in. It's 323-792-3050 or chat in our awesome chat room because nobody knows the experience. If you're watching this, click on it and go into the chat room. You could put any screen name you want in. You could do anything, but you have to see the gathering that is in that room. For 1 year, we have spent. People actually are family in there. They look forward to being around each other and talking to each other. It's a communication. It's a gathering, okay? And also you can understand that if you book a reading, go to click above my head, www.carriepsychiccafe.com, or you can go to my Facebook and you could like me, follow me. There's many things, and I have an awesome website that you can actually go on to see this show. So before Andrea is going to be phoning in today, because sometimes there's a problem that goes on with the Skyping, because electronically, like I do, things get messed up. But she was on TV and she messed up all the spirituality this woman has, and you have no idea. So what I'm going to do? All right,
do you want to take a phone call?
No.
Real quick, you'll take one.
No. This is Suziani, okay? Suziani made this for Andrea and I today, and we're going to start phone calls after Andrea's done. That was the rules today. If anybody was to listen, they were the rules, okay? So I'm going to go through the bio right now, and how do I do that, Thomas? I want everybody in the world to hear a little bit of why I love and respect Andrea Perron. So, action.
A brief bio of Andrea Perron. Andrea Perron is the author of the trilogy House of Darkness, House of Light. These books chronicle the life she shared with dead and living alike in a colonial-era farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. Born in 1958, at the age of 12, her parents purchased the Arnold estate, beginning an incredible journey beyond the realm of reality as most perceive it to be. A collective memoir, it details the encounters experienced by each and every member of her family. 7 mere mortals spent a decade exploring the vast expanse of possibilities which exist beyond the 5 senses, employing the 6th for clarity. Andrea received an interdisciplinary degree in English and philosophy from Chatham College in 1980, and 2 weeks later left the farm with her family, moving to Georgia in June of that year. She has since owned 2 businesses and spent nearly a decade as a counselor before abandoning her career to tell this story, to write the books she believes she was destined to write. She lives quietly with her mother in rural Georgia, where she continues her work, as the final manuscript is poised for publication in October of 2013. She is a human rights advocate, an animal rights activist, and an outspoken member of the world community, which she insists needs to be saved from themselves. You can visit her YouTube channel and website for more information. House of Darkness, House of Light is no ordinary ghost story. It is a collective memoir, expansive in scope. It is essentially a cosmic love story. Anyone unprepared for its darkest contents should choose less dense material, according to the author, as this series of books functions as interactive literature. It is not written to be horrifying, though it has that effect on some readers. Instead, it is meant to be read and assimilated, absorbed slowly and deliberately, like a lengthy lamentation of spiritual meditation. It takes the reader on a decade-long journey through the darkness and into the light of higher consciousness, imbuing the participating reader with a heightened level of awareness in the process. No one leaves its pages unaltered by the experience, as was the family who had the encounters originally. The Perron family purchased the farmhouse in 1970 and spent the next 10 years discovering the good and evil are in a perpetual state of war, that there is something beyond our mortal existence. It poses far more questions than answers and forces the reader to ponder some uncomfortable concepts. Andrea describes the place as a portal cleverly disguised as a farmhouse. It is a place where time and space stand still and become irrelevant to the encounter, shared space. It is a window to the past and future alike, a point of epiphany for those who are incapable of comprehending its contents. Death is not the end, and may in fact only be the beginning. The Perron family waited more than 30 years to tell the tale of darkness and light. They had to process what occurred in their home, in their lives, and the world had to be ready for what it had to share with its people. As Carolyn, her mother, the matriarch of the family, explains, this is not the kind of thing one should rightfully take to the grave. It requires courage and an open mind by all accounts. The world is ready for the House of Darkness, House of Light. Now, the film The Conjuring tells a story in broad, sweeping strokes, painting a picture of the struggle between good and evil, the triumph of love over fear. The fine lines of history are etched upon the page of the extensive manuscript. Many elements of the film were fictionalized, but the books tell the truth. The Conjuring was based on the investigative files of Ed and Lorraine Warren. The books come directly from the source, Andrea Perron. The entire family who experienced these supernatural shenanigans, some of which were even more severe than anything represented on film. This is the classic case of truth being stranger than fiction. And with that, it is our pleasure to welcome Andrea Perron to the show.
So Andrea will be calling in at 8:15 if we have some questions that we would like to do. I wanted everybody to kind of know a little bit about a preview of who some people know of Andrea, or some people have read the books and not seen the movie. Everybody needed to understand what exactly the gift you're all receiving tonight. I just needed you to know that. So she will be calling in. Andrea, will you let me know when she will be ready to be calling in, Amnon? Ma'am?
She's not here, but she can call anytime. Do you want,
I could take a question then.
Or call.
okay.
Or call.
Talk to Tracy.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Trace, how are
Hi,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. It's going to be an awesome show tonight. What can I help you with, my love?
This is the first time I've ever got through, and I am so excited.
Very good. What can I help you with, my dear?
I basically wanted to ask you a question. I've been fighting anxiety in my life for the past, month or so. Do you see it getting any better for me?
Aaron wants you to know that you need to take, number one, we're going to just go all homeopathic here. Thank you. I believe that there is a natural remedy. I also was told today, I had somebody help me, Debbie Brooke, that's on another station of mine. There's certain things you can take for it. You don't have to go sometimes medically. I mean, Xanax is always for everybody, but there is a thing called belladonna that thank you, that that you can go and do and take, and it be naturally, because your anxiety stems from your childhood. So you were like born with it, just so you know. But on the other half of it, you need to really just every day's a new day, Trace. Every day's a new day, and things will get better. It's inevitable with you. But your body is reacting to other things. So I believe that this, and like I said, Debbie Brooke, who is an amazing, I just got off the phone with her. I had a situation to go on before that. I was like, whoa. And she gave me a bunch of stuff, which if I wasn't on the money with this one, because Aaron's suggesting, and clonidine. I want to go here herbally first. I'm not a doctor. I don't ever claim to be. I have 4 awesome guardians. Aaron's a doctor. So I would say that if I'm not right, Debbie's in the room, I think. And if I'm not right, are you in the room, Trace, today? Are you on the chat room?
Yes,
All right.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so Debbie, if you're watching, and I wasn't right with that, with the herbally, because I'm the one who just said it, because you had mentioned it for me today, and Aaron is suggesting, clonidine. So I would try herb first, and then, that's up to you, sweetheart. Okay, but you got to relax.
Okay.
Every day's a new day, and everything will work out. My father says that your life needs to just digest and relax. You're kind of like my life, and I also suggest you need to just sit back, relax, and start enjoying things instead of worrying about things, and let the universe help you bring everything in. Because a lot of people in the world today are so in a rush and are so in a rut, and everything keeps happening over and over again. You're like, if there was nothing but bad luck, I have no luck at all. There's a moment where you have to say, Trace, you got to say to yourself, I need to do something different. How about a life coach? Do you ever hear? Do you have a life coach?
Hello.
Hello.
This is Andrea.
Hi, Andrea. How are you? I'm
Hi.
sorry, I was on a reading and didn't know I was being put over to Andrea. Hi. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
Okay, everybody. This is Andrea Perrin. Welcome to the show.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Tracy, are you still there?
I hope not.
No. Well, she shows like she is.
Okay, Andrea.
Yes,
I did. Did you happen to hear the little spiel that Tom did for you? He did all your bio. And I just wanted the world to know who you were and everything like that, and what's going on and how everything is. And nobody can call in for 20 minutes because, Andrea, I want to say thank you so much for doing this show tonight. You're just an amazing woman to me. You're a mentor, a friend, a sister. What you put out to the world and the world receives is just amazing. You're so gifted and talented, and I just there's no words for you. I got off the phone with her. She just like helped me out of a bad situation. But there's no words for Andrea Perrin is to me like that's the world changing event is when you know about Andrea Perrin. So Andrea, whenever you want to go and talk about what you want to talk about, and I just have everything good to say about Andrea Perrin every day. So I need a little bit of Andrea every day. So how are you doing tonight, my dear?
I have just come off of, I'm on a real high. I just spent the weekend with the North Georgia Paranormal Group, J.W. McDonald and his entire team up in the mountains of North Georgia in Chatsworth and Eton. And it was, oh my God, what a most wonderful experience it was. The most fabulous people, the best Georgia home cooking you could ever let touch your lips. And a special shout out to the homemade blueberry waffles, I have to say. And I've met fabulous people. I met fabulous critters. I'm in love with Cooter, the Boston Terrier. I am just enormously gifted to have met all of these people. The people of Chatsworth and Eton are just absolutely salt of the earth. And we raised a lot of money this weekend for the Toys for Tots and St. Jude's Children's Hospital and Secret Santa, and, really all put our heads together to make some serious money, to make sure that those children up in the mountains have the most spectacular Christmas. And it is, what a joy to be able to give to the community and to interact with the community that way. So my whole way home, I took my sister April with me, and all the way home, all we did was chat about this one and chat about that one, and, all the wondrous people that we met and the fabulous photographs that went all over Facebook all weekend long, and we laughed and shared our great experience together. I've never taken April on a book signing or a festival. It was the Pumpkin Festival, and my God, it rocked my world. So, and I wanted to let you know, I've got some big things coming up in the future as well. I have been invited to be a speaker at the Beyond Expo out on the Queen Mary that is parked in Long Beach, California, next March. Susan Bell and Travis Short are the ones that sucked me into that vortex, and I couldn't be happier about it. They're going to be spectacular people there, some of the very best of the best speakers from around the world. This is going to be a truly remarkable event, truly remarkable. And I've got all kinds of stuff in the works, and I am sending out my very last package of material. I'll be honest with you, I delayed Volume 3 by a couple of months, and I did it deliberately. Not only was I absolutely swamped with appearances, and I was, flying all over the country promoting the film, and, I'm really, really tied up and absolutely exhausted. But, there was also all the bad stuff that happened up around the farm and Bathsheba's tombstone, and, it was really, there was a lot of negative energy around all of that, and it sucked me dry. And I thought, best not to stir the cauldron, so I put Volume 3 off. I figured, people waited 2 years for Volume 2. They would pardon me and wait 6 months for Volume 3.
Absolutely. You have to rest.
I pardon you, Andrea.
Tom pardoned you.
Bless his heart. My dear, sweet Thomas. I can almost feel his scruffy beard against my cheek.
You happy now?
Yeah.
Oh, my
goodness. He jumped me. Carrie, you remember when we met in South Carolina, and he jumped on me as I got out of the car.
That was unbelievable.
And then threw it in your face that he hugged me first.
All the time.
So when we meet up next month in Rhode Island.
Yes, we're going. You and I.
Okay. I'm not going near the man until I have you in my arms. Okay.
No, you're all
I'm
mine.
not going near him. I will have my father hold him at bay if necessary until I get to hug you first.
He loves you, though. He loves you, and I love you. But I can't wait for Rhode Island. I just can't wait for Rhode Island. And we had a fun time in Aiken and doing that whole Paragon. And nobody, I don't think half the world knows exactly what they're in for. But everybody better hold on, because
I'm introducing a whole new
oh my God, yes.
lecture presentation. I'm very grateful to have been invited to lecture at the New England Institute of Technology.
Wow.
A wonderful, wonderful school in East Greenwich, Rhode Island. And I'm doing a presentation there on October 24th, and I truly hope that you and Thomas can be there. I think that would be spectacular. And it's in the evening. It's at 7 o'clock in the evening. It's free and open to the public. And we're going to have a great time. And I am introducing an entirely new presentation at that point, because I think that it is time to really start talking about the very big issues around what happened to us at the farm, the really big ones. And one of the things that, I am stirring the cauldron a little bit on is the notion that the veil is an illusion, that we create it to help define the parameters of our reality, and that's in quotations, but that actually we don't live in a three-dimensional world. We live in a multi-dimensional world, and that as young children who come into this world as infants and often carry past memories and carry, with us what we've already experienced in this secular thing called life, that's when the programming begins, when we're just little itty-bitties. And I think about how many millions of times over the course of human history a child has been told by an adult, no, Grandma didn't read you a bedtime story last night, honey. Grandma died a couple of years before you were born. Well, yes, Grandma did read that baby a bedtime story and came to see the young'un that was born into the family. Yes, she did. And she's always there, whether or not you can see her. And I often use the metaphor about, on the night of the full moon, how it bathes the earth in glorious glow of light. But on the night of the new moon, does anyone seriously doubt that the moon isn't there anymore because we can't see it?
Right. I just get mesmerized when you speak. I was
hoping you hadn't fallen asleep.
No, I just mesmerized by when you speak. Because everything you say, it just feels like with Annie, I call her Annie, it just feels like I already heard it before. Like it's not new to me, Annie. It's just...
Well, know something, honey, I have to tell you, everything that I say is not new. No. Every single thing that I say has been said at some time by someone in the course of human history. Right. Everything. And it's just, I think it's really more the way some people hear something for the first time because of the way that it's said or the context in which it is said, even though they've heard it 1,000 times before. But this is the time that it clicks. This is the person that it clicks from.
Oh, absolutely. 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 Everything you say and everything that you talk about and discuss, the world is just ready. The world needs to know this exists. The world needs to know there's changes that have to happen. The world needs to know that what even I do, this is real, and we're not going anywhere. It's just going to get larger.
No, we're not going anywhere, and we are part of the awakening, which is happening all over this globe. We're a part of it. And I say that very humbly. There is no ego involved with this. I don't know how many times this past weekend I heard the word celebrity. And I'm just not a celebrity. I'll never be a celebrity. Angelina Jolie is a celebrity. I'm Annie. And I'm a normal person who had an incredible paranormal experience as a child. And now I'm telling the world about what happened to our family. And so somehow in the minds of some folks, that elevates me in terms of status. But the truth of the matter is that we all bleed red and we all shed tears. And we are all the same. We are all human beings. We're mere mortals seeking to know the truth of our existence. And if I am free to share anything, it's that how we comport ourselves in this life matters. It matters. And so all I do is preach the good word. That's all I do. Be kind, be loving, be forgiving, be generous, share whatever you can with anyone in need. Always help every animal that you can help every child that you can help anyone that you can ever help. And your whole life is about that, Carrie. Your whole life is about that. And I know sometimes it's draining. Sometimes it's draining for me as well. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is that we get so much more from it than we actually give. And even though it can be tiring, it can be downright exhausting sometimes to be surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands of people who are hanging on what you're saying as if they are hearing it for the first time. It's also truly a privilege to be able to interact with other souls in this way. And we are gathering together, my dear. Birds of a feather do tend to flock together. And we are gathering those who see the light, those who know there's a better life and there's a better world. And I'll tell you, it's going to be shocking to a lot of folks when my DVD comes out on Mysterious World TV, because I included, there was, well, you and my dear sweet Thomas. Oh, I can feel the whiskers on my cheeks. You saw it, and I know how many. You called me afterwards and you said, honey, we had to watch 15 or 20 minutes of it and then stop, and then another 15 or 20 minutes and then stop and take it in and take it in. Because honest to God, I've done, you know how many interviews I've done. I've done probably thousands of interviews. But that was the one. That was the one. And I blame Devin Belanger for this. Because she and Angie Stockman made me say things that I had no intention of sharing. And then, after the fact, they put it all together into this beautiful package, this absolutely magnificently produced, like, docudrama interview. I mean, it's really an amazing thing. Well, and it should be. You know, we've got Mysterious World TV covering this. It's amazing. And they called me and they're like, please let us leave it in. Please let us leave it in. And before I even spilled my guts with those two, I told them flat out, you cannot use this material. I'll tell you what I know, but you cannot use this material. And then, of course, you know, they called me and said, oh, but please. And, you know, Devin whines in an English accent, which is utterly charming. And, you know, and Angie didn't even, you know, Angie just basically said to me, this needs to be included. But Devin was, darling dear, don't you understand? This is so significant. This is so important. We simply must include it. Please say yes. And she was just so sweet. What was I going to say? You know,
How would you say no to that?
I remember her saying that. I remember that in her eyes because we saw the DVD.
Yeah, we had the privilege of seeing it before
anybody
saw it. Well, I mean, and believe me, when it does come out, you're going to have to just take it in intervals, 15 minutes, digest it, understand it, then go again, and you're going to have to do it, and maybe watch it 2, 3, 4, 5 times more, because what has to be said and what was said on this, and it's just unbelievable. I don't know how much I could talk about. All I know is that when everybody gets this, Andrea, it's going to be like, boom. Like, you know, they'll get it. They'll get it. It's just amazing. It was amazing.
It freaked me out.
It freaked Tom out. And
yeah, I know. I know it did. He called me.
We were like, huh? Oh my God, what? You know? And actually, I have to be honest. I know you know this. Emily, our daughter, was watching it with us, and she is so into Andrea. She has read both books. She's blown. She can't wait to the third one. And Andrea, actually, when we were worked together, we were with each other and hanging out in the Paragon. She wrote a beautiful song for Emily in there. So Emily now knows Andrea how to play that song on her guitar that she self-taught herself. And she calls that, you know, she says, well, Andrea said that that was a song that I should play. And she learned it word for word, Ann. word for word. She is the biggest fan of you, Emily, among the world. My daughter Emily's only 16 years old, and she's a very big Andrea Parent fan. She just gets it,
But
and she's
also
16.
gifted.
She's tremendously gifted. But I sorry to interrupt you. I had to just add that, Annie. Sorry.
No, that's no problem, dear. But I will tell you that there is a seismic shift occurring, and it's not just with me. It's with millions of other people. I'm just one among the masses, just one. And you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
There are things that have to change, must change in this world of ours if we are going to be sustained as a species. There's nothing less significant at stake than the future of the species.
Right.
And I don't know exactly how everything is integrated, but I do know that everything is integrated. And so I very reluctantly gave Devin and Angie permission to use the entire substance of the interview, because I think that it's time now to open. In fact, let me rephrase. I know that it's time to throw open the doors to awareness and understanding. And I think that it's time for the conversation to begin in earnest. And if I'm the one that has to be, the sacrificial lamb, as it were, and throw myself down on the altar and say, let it fall as it may, then I will be the one to do that, because I tell folks all the time, kind of with a wink in my eye, I turned into an accidental lecturer. I was really just a reclusive writer who was perfectly happy to stay home with my mom and my sister and live happily ever after, tethered to my keyboard. That's where I am most comfortable, when I am writing and when I am sharing my ideas with the world in whatever form that I can, whether it be doing interviews like this, although there's really no other interview like doing one with Carrie-Anne and Thomas, my dear sweet Thomas. But it's always an enlightening endeavor. But I'll tell you, I'm ready now. I'm ready. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what clicked. All I know is that everything happens with purpose and reason, and the time has come now for me to speak my piece, because the way I feel about it is it would be irresponsible for me to know what I know and not say so.
Correct. The world is ready. The world will hear, and they'd have no idea
just tell
what's
her,
going to change.
Tell her about all that stuff about the food, the melting of the nuclear reactor, how bad that's getting.
Yeah, the melting of the nuclear reactor. Thomas brings that up all the time.
I know. He sent me another link about that today. Thomas, thank you, honey. I appreciate that. I haven't even had a chance to open it and look at it. But this is what I know, and that is that 3 of 4 nuclear reactors at Fukushima Daiichi are in full, complete, utter meltdown. And they don't know how to stop it. We have never, ever faced anything like this in the course of human history before. And it could actually render a very large chunk of Japan uninhabitable. But here's the thing. You know what I said a few minutes ago about everything is integrated? Right. Every ocean flows into every other ocean. It doesn't matter that we've given them different names. Right. 300 to 400 million gallons of cesium and radioactive water is flowing into the Pacific Ocean every single day. The main part of the debris mass that is floating out in the ocean is quickly approaching California. It is highly radioactive, and it's going to be on our shoreline. There's no difference between Japan and the United States and China and Russia and Iceland and Antarctica. We are one globe. And until we start treating each other like what we really are, which is brothers and sisters, and until we stop playing with matches and messing with things that we can't control, whoever thought that it was acceptable to begin experimentation with radioactivity and not know what the fundamental outcome of that would be and how to stop it once it went into full, complete meltdown. We thought Chernobyl was bad. It'll be a minimum of 500,000 years before anybody would ever be able to live even remotely close to where Chernobyl exploded. This is so much worse. This makes 3 Mile Island look like a blip on the radar. And you know, the thing that drives me out of my mind, is that the news wants to cover the disgusting behavior of a teenager named Miley Cyrus instead of dealing with the fact that our world is in critical condition. And it is time to start discussing that. And if the ghosts that I grew up with gave me the forum to discuss this and to bring this into the forefront of the conversation, then I'm glad. Because I'll tell you what's going on in our world right now scares me way more than any spirit ever did.
Scares me too. It scares me too.
You know, I didn't even have children, but that doesn't matter. I'm worried, truly worried, frightened
for the
children and the grandchildren and what kind of world is going to be left to them. And I am sick to death of the politicians. I'm ready to wring all their necks. And, you know, I'm a big Barack Obama supporter. You know that about me. I am a bleeding heart left-wing Democrat. That's what I am. I put it out there. The Republicans can hate me and hang up on me if they want to. But you know what? None of them know how to play nice. None of them know how to agree on anything. It's just war and war and more war, and let's make some more war. And the fact of the matter is, until we come to terms with the fact that we will destroy ourselves if we do not find a path to peace. Now, what am I saying to you right now? I am not saying anything differently to you than Jesus Christ did 2,000 years ago when he came into the forefront of human consciousness and the Prince of Peace started spreading the word, love thy neighbor as thyself, forgive and let go and let God and believe and have faith and truly love each other and embrace each other and help each other. And I'm not saying anything differently than he did. And what happened when the Prince of Peace came into our barbaric, quote, civilization? What happened? Everybody decided that whoever didn't believe in the word of Jesus Christ should be murdered. And more people have died in the name of religion on this planet than by all disease combined. I'm sick of it. When are we going to evolve? If not now, never. If not now, never. Correct. It's time. Wake up.
Right. Exactly. I'm with you 100%. You know that.
Yeah, I know you are. We've discussed this.
I will never leave.
And sometimes I discuss this at the top of my lungs because I can't help it. You know, even my sister will come to me and she's like, honey, calm down. You're going to have a stroke. You know?
I remember we discussed this in Aiken and all the lights went off in the hotel.
Yeah, Andrea and I and Tom were hanging out in the carriage. Well, we were staying at the same place together at Aiken's, and Andrea and Tom and I were out in the back, and she was saying the same thing, and all the lights kept going out on the porch constantly. She has that power. She has that ability. She has that strength. It's something that's going to be set out to the world. It's being set now, and everybody. I tell everybody all the time about you, Annie, that the world needs to hear. They need to listen, and they need to make changes. And this is what it's about. It's time. It's time. So everybody listening to this tonight and listening to Andrea, please listen. I mean, it's hard for people to listen sometimes, you know, Annie? And, you know, you can hear something, you have to listen. And
well, I'm going to tell you something that, you know, anybody who has a book out there or a DVD out there, and they're doing one interview after another, and they're trying to push their message and promote their work. What I'm telling everybody that's within earshot of me right now, forget about me. Just for a few minutes, forget I even exist, and go to the Mysterious World TV website and order a DVD by the Right and Honorable Paul Hellyer. The Right and Honorable Paul Hellyer, the former Defense Minister of Canada. This man is 90 years old, and he granted an interview to Devin Belanger and Angie Stockman that will rock your world. It will change the way you think about everything, and that is what you need to absorb into your consciousness, everyone. It is a pittance. It's like $14 or so. It's a pittance for the education that you will receive in 1 hour of a lecture at a seminar, a closed seminar that Devin was, she's done a favor to the whole world. She's done a favor to the universe. And people need to pay very close attention to what's going on with Mysterious World TV. It is absolutely amazing. There are enormous changes. And yes, I'm involved, and I'm thrilled to be involved, but I'm on the periphery compared to people like Paul Hellyer and Paula Harris. I'm telling you.
Thomas has put that in the chat room for you.
Oh, okay, sure, great. Bring it on.
Okay.
Well, Margie did too.
Margie did too. Just so you know, I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, Marge. Oh, my Margie Mirsky.
Love her too.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Now, that's a woman you should all follow, all of you.
I agree. I follow her.
Tell her we're going to order that necklace.
Yeah, we're going to get to her.
Oh, are you? Are you going to order the talisman? We haven't even put it out on the market yet. You know, a lot of people have asked us about it. It's the one that I wore at the opening of the film at The Conjuring. And Marge made one of them for every member of my family, and then, of course, one for her. But then, again, Marge really is a member of my family. Absolutely. And the artisan should always have one of her own pieces of work anyway. She is an absolutely brilliant artist, but aside from that, she's the one that's responsible for my incredible web presence. And I thank her every day for what she does.
Well, I am going to.
The original?
Yeah, I remember that we were talking about it at the carriage.
Yes.
And that I was going to also. You were allowing me to get one of the original.
Yes.
And I am very honored by that. So I will be purchasing that.
But I want you to have one of the originals, honey. I do. Marge will make that for you. Anybody that wants one can order one from her. But I'm finding that the people that are contacting her are, really in my, how we circled the wagons a couple of years ago. You've got one of the wagons in the circle. You and my dear sweet Thomas.
I love her. I am so truly blessed to know of you and have been able to evolve and be mentored and just have a great friend and a sister. I just really, I can't say, everybody that's listening and hears Andrea speak and as she goes forward and speaks more, you all need to listen. I just really want you to listen. Listen. It's so important to listen to her. So I'm sorry. You can continue, Andrea. I'm sorry.
Well, did you have anybody in the chat room that had a question? I'm perfectly willing to take that question.
Actually, my staff in there are going to call in questions for us tonight, and so they're going to address you and they'll address me. So we're going to rock it. Yeah, is Suziani on hold?
I don't see her.
I told her to call in.
All right, she's going to call in. So there's a ton of questions in the chat room.
Oh, my God.
There's it's blown up tonight.
The chat room actually says it's full.
Nobody else could come in the chat room tonight. You have made a full house, my dear.
Oh, come on. Cyberspace is bigger than that.
My chat can only hold a certain amount of people, and we are chatted, man. We are
Right,
great.
she said she's calling in now.
Okay, so
tell Andrea this is
Angie
Susie that did the artwork.
Yeah, Annie, this is the one who the woman that did our artwork is going to be calling in.
Great. Oh, that was so charming. Absolutely lovely.
There she is.
Hi, Suziani. All right.
Oh, hello?
Is she there?
I'm waiting.
No, I don't hear her.
This sometimes happens.
She says she hears music.
She hears music, she said. So, but you know, I just the world just needs to understand, and once everything comes out, even more so. And the movie,
she's not cued in.
She's not cued in. The world. Now, talking about the movie The Conjuring, Annie, like, I went to see it, obviously, and the world's seen it. And there's some people, though, that, when they have read the books and they have done all the legwork like we've done, and we understand that the movie is a movie and it just is everything. But there were some parts in it that were not in the movie that happened. And, and that's why everybody needs to, like, I tell everybody, you have to read the books. You have to read them. Because
I
the
will
movie...
tell you, there's not a single scene from the books that has been replicated in the film.
Right.
And that's understandable because they had so much information to work with between what Mrs. Warren provided to them and what I provided to them that they had no choice but to, pull a thread here and pull a thread there from her information and from what I provided. And with that, they decided to weave together a separate story that is distinct from really both of the sources of information. And they did that so that it would have a certain flow. And, the thing that I give all the credit in the world to New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers, because they put me out front in a way that I never expected, and I'm eternally grateful for in terms of promoting the film. And all I did was speak from my heart. I think it is an absolutely beautiful film. I think it's incredibly well crafted. It's masterful in many respects. I think James Wan handled the material with great sensitivity and maturity, and in the process has catapulted himself into the upper echelon of directors and certainly is master of the genre. There can be no question about that in anyone's mind. But I was also absolutely free to discuss the discrepancies. Nobody had any issue with that. And so, I've done that, as I do with most things, with lighthearted humor. And I start with, for instance, my mother doesn't bite, even when provoked, because if she did, my father would be covered in scars. So, let everybody be clear about that. There was not an exorcism that took place in the house. Regardless of what you heard, I was there. It was not an exorcism. It didn't happen in the cellar. It happened in the dining room, and it was a seance, or what Mrs. Warren referred to as a gathering of souls. And it got out of control immediately, within moments of the medium beckoning the souls to enter through a door that was thrown wide open. And all hell broke loose in our home.
Andrea, let me stop you a second. Suziani, call the 518-9773. It's not going to work with the way that we can't have a call in coming through the phone. And no, Suziani, go ahead and disconnect and then call in on 919-518-9773. As long as Andrea is on that line, we cannot use the other one.
Okay.
Oh,
thank you for letting us
I'm the
know,
one that's blocking the works here.
We never tried it that way, and apparently it cancels the other one. This is why when Andrea came online, Tracy, suddenly we couldn't hear her. It doesn't
Andrea
work like that.
just takes over.
I did, and I didn't mean to. I'm really not that pushy. Actually, sometimes I am that pushy, but only when it's really important,
Absolutely. It's
so
all good.
Let me clarify.
Right, let's see now. Suziani, you here?
Yes, I finally
there
am.
She is.
Oh, hi. Thank you for your artwork. That was just lovely, honey. It's posted right on my wall.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. It's so nice to meet you, Andrea. I've watched all your videos on YouTube. I saw The Conjuring, which I thought was fabulous. And it's just a pleasure listening to you. And everybody is so enjoying the show, but there are loads of questions in chat.
Well, I'm so excited about that, and I'm happy to answer them. I'll just take one more minute to just clarify the few things that I want to for those who see the film but also read the books. And one of the other points that is important to make, and I understand why the filmmakers did what they did, because they needed to create a point of demarcation. But we were not what was represented in the film as in terms of, being godless heathens. We were all born and raised Catholic. We were all baptized into the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church turned its back on us. It was not the other way around. And I also want to make it extremely clear to everyone who is within earshot of this that my mother would never in a billion years do anything to hurt any of her children. And that was the intimation, in the film, is that Bathsheba was a witch. Bathsheba got a really raw deal in the film. There is absolutely no documentation anywhere that Bathsheba is a witch. And I will give you a little heads up about Volume 3. And in the time that I delayed the publication, I've added some more material because I found that when the film came out and the reaction to Bathsheba Sherman based on her portrayal in the film and the desecration of her gravesite, which, happened, some idiot out there, and I don't know who it is, but she does, and woe be unto them, decided to take a baseball bat or some kind of something to her gravestone that had just been lovingly restored. And, there's absolutely no excuse for that. Absolutely none. To take that film at face value and to believe everything that they saw on that screen is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous, especially considering I made it very clear that the whole true story is in the books. The fine lines of history are etched on the pages of these books. And there's an entire chapter in Volume 3 that talks about how a person's reputation can be besmirched in life and can follow them after their own death. And is there any question in anyone's mind that Bathsheba is as haunted as she is a haunting character in history? No, if she was falsely accused of killing that baby, of committing something as cruel as infanticide, and if she actually did not do that, but spent her entire life being accused of it, having that horrible dark cloud hanging over her head, the suspicion and the accusation, she was tried and convicted by the jury called public opinion. And is there any wonder she became a bitter, vindictive old woman? There's no question in my mind about it. And, I tried very hard to tell her entire story to the best of my ability with whatever I had at my disposal for research material. And what I learned of her, what I know of her from living in the house, what I learned later on subsequently, all that I know about this woman. And I think that it's very important that people come away with one singular notion, and that is that words can be used as weaponry. Words can be used as weaponry. And you can say things about another person that will live on beyond their own death. And that is what is so implicitly unfair. We all need to treat each other with kindness and temperance and understanding and compassion. And when we get to that point, I will feel as though there is some salvation for this species. But until then, that's what we need to work at with singular cause and purpose, is to get to the point where we all understand that we are one. We are a manifestation of God consciousness. We are how God sees itself.
Right. Amen. Wow. That's it. Just yeah. I told everybody again in the beginning when I get quiet. Your words, the way you speak, the way you are, how you put it out there, it's just right in your face. And if everybody doesn't feel that too, then there's something wrong, because you have to understand that everything that is being spoke of today, you need to listen. You need to listen. Annie, could we take some questions from Susie?
Absolutely.
All right,
Go
my
right
love.
ahead, honey.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Susie.
All right, the first one is from Anne, but I believe it's Anita. I think she just told us she's Anita. She said her dearest friend Eric died in February, and she misses him terribly. Does he have any messages for her or for his mom? He was 33 when he died.
Yeah,
well, what I would yes, I'll just hop in here for just a second, Carrie, and then you go on. I want Anita to know that Eric, one of the lines in the books is there's no need to mourn them, they're not really gone. When someone passes away, and I'm saying this on behalf of my dear friend Julie as well, who is suffering a perceived loss, and I call it that because that's her perception, and it's Anita's perception that they've lost someone that they truly love, and they haven't lost anything. We are all essentially spirit. And even though we temporarily occupy this vessel called the body, there's nothing about this body that is designed to last forever. And just because the body died does not mean that the spirit is vacant and that the soul has moved on away. What it means is that you don't have that physical presence to hug and to hold and to cuddle and to kiss and to talk to anymore. But that doesn't mean you can't have that conversation. And I guarantee you, if you sit down and get still and get quiet and you begin that conversation, you will be answered. And everyone who passes from this realm into the next, if they pass on and they are at peace, they will openly communicate. And if they are not, you can help them achieve that peace.
Amen.
Yeah, amen is right.
Go ahead. You could ask the next question because she just answered it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you have anything to add?
Well, yeah, I could tell you that. Yeah. Go ahead, Susiani. No, I can add in the room.
Okay, so you want the next question then?
Sure.
JCE, and it's a he, wants to know if there's any concerns with his mother's health.
Absolutely. Aaron says that you should really get medical attention to her, like ASAP. The problem with her digestive system and a problem with that oh my God, thank you. She also has something neurologically that's not going on right. But Aaron also compliments and says that he also can get this problem also because it's family bound. So you need to really watch anything to do with that, because it's very important that you get a medical assistance immediately. Those two things have to be addressed immediately. Whether she kicks and screams, I want her to go. So do you want to add anything, Ann? Annie?
Well, what I would say is that there's a disturbance in the force, that there's some kind of imbalance going on that needs to be addressed immediately.
Absolutely. Thank you. And the next one, Susiani?
Yes, the next one is from Rosemary, and she said, this is for you, Carrie. Carrie, she said you told her to see another doctor for a second opinion and that you were sorry for what she was experiencing. Right. Did the guardians have any insight into this?
Well, did Erin tell her, did she see did she see the doctor? Or is there, did she get the results, or did she get the second opinion?
She didn't say.
Well, she needs to tell us that. Erin said something's wrong here. So I assume that she did not do that yet. You need to do that, please. And do it quickly. There's a second opinion involved. There is a misdiagnosis here. There's something that one doctor has missed, and I'm telling you right now that you need to get on it before they start any type of treatment or any type of procedure, because there's something else that's not. They misdiagnosed. Thank you. Erin said there's a misdiagnosis somewhere here. Anything, Annie?
No, I'm letting you take that one.
Okay, thank you. And the next one, Susie?
Okay, and this one is for either of you, and it's from Christine, and she wants to know, when will their trouble go away? She can't take it anymore.
Well, we're all responsible for the trouble that comes into our lives. Every one of us has to. Whenever there is an obstacle, the first thing to do to begin to address whatever obstacle it is to own it, claim it, because we constantly manifest. That is what we do. That is the nature of our existence. We constantly manifest. So if there's a problem that cropped up, if there's a misunderstanding that took place, we have to be responsible for our part in that. And then once the obstacle is identified and once the responsibility has been claimed for it, I find, at least in terms of myself, and I can only speak for myself around this, I will generally be able to see with some clarity what needs to be done to address it. And here's the thing about obstacles in life. Everything in nature is secular. Everything is. We're going to have down times. We're going to have up times. Nothing ever stays the same. The universe is in constant flux. That is the nature of the universe. It's all fluxed up. That's one of my very favorite things to say. And I know it's almost dirty, but it's really true. And the fact of the matter is that when you have an obstacle, that is a lesson to be learned. And when you approach every obstacle that comes in your pathway, there is a lesson there for you to learn. If you do not learn it, it will represent itself automatically. That is the immutable law of the universe. It's just as effective as the law of attraction. It's just as effective as the law of gravity. It is. And so what you need to do is examine it from every conceivable angle. Because when there is an obstacle, and it's funny, I was just counseling someone about this morning. When there is an obstacle in your path, you have a number of ways to approach it. You can dig under it and come up the other side. You can walk around it to the left. You can walk around it to the right. You can go right over it, or you can ignore it. And if you ignore it, it will absolutely show itself again.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And I'll tell you something. Christine, you got to rely on your father. You got a situation going on with you're going to come across the bearings of life that are just, nothing's going right. You're still waiting for a check to come. My dad said that there's so much more in life than all this bad going around. There's so much of your aura that needs to be clean. I need to get to you, and we need to cleanse. We need to do something in order to stir the pot. So we need to address this further. I know who you are. We're on this. We got this. And that's it. And the next question, Suziani?
The next one is from Mickey Ann, and
hey, Mick.
She wants to know if you could tell her how her grandsons are doing because she's not on speaking terms with their mother.
Yeah, I understand that. That's a big problem. My dad, actually, my grandmother steps in and says that there's a conflict of interest problem here. And, I understand that nobody talks, but in this world, thank you, my grandmother says you need to fix it. You need to make it better. You need to examine the situation. And I know that there's no talking, but no talking doesn't make anything better. If you open up the line of communication, no matter what the situation is, every day's a new day. Everything's a new thing. You can't, holding things like that brings in negativity and it's toxic. We need to change it. They're okay. They're fine. They miss different things in their life now because of this whole issue. But you need to kind of make it new. Thank you. My grandma said, and you need to maybe be the better one here, Vic, and do what you got to do to make it better. Annie?
Yes, I would second that absolutely. And I'm speaking in just the broadest terms because obviously you know this woman and I do not. So I don't know anything behind it. But what I do know is that she has the power to change the dynamics. Absolutely, unquestioningly. Change the dynamics. Take charge of the situation because the only ones that are being cheated are the children.
Oh, absolutely. And Mickey, she'll do the right thing. She's got she's tremendously gifted too. And the next question, Suziani?
Actually, Aunt Joan's got a bunch of them, and there is a lot more in chat. But I do have a personal question. Can I take the time to ask it right now?
Absolutely.
You're gonna ask? Is it for Andrea?
It's for actually.
Yeah.
I had one for Andrea, but I think this one, your guardians are going to want to give me the answer.
Okay.
You know that I broke my back a week after Easter. Well, I just was to my primary care the Friday before last, and then 4 days later on Tuesday, something happened in my chest. I've either broken a couple of ribs, in which case I wouldn't go for an x-ray because they don't do anything for broken ribs, except it was last Tuesday, and now I can't even move my arm, and I'm having trouble breathing. Do you think a broken rib punctured something?
Yeah, you gotta go, Suziani, ASAP.
I'm gonna have to go tomorrow too. I'm gonna have to go.
There's something with your lung. Then there's fluid. There's some kind of fluid developing.
You know what? That's how I feel. I'm gonna call the I'm gonna call my doctor and then go to the emergency room.
Get it done. Now I'm scared.
Morning.
Get it done. Get it done, please.
It's just gotten so much worse instead of better as time passed by that I didn't know what I should do.
Oh, you got to get some healing too, girlfriend. You got to get you some healing. You're too wonderful and a beautiful woman, and you're so amazing. You just need to have some healing also to you.
Okay,
you definitely
now
need healing.
for Andrea, I was listening to every word you said, and something came to my mind when you were talking earlier. I'm sure you're familiar with what Janet Napolitano said when she resigned from being the head of Homeland Security, and she said that that the country is planning for a natural disaster. Well, a natural disaster by its nature you can't plan for, and how does she know it's coming? Was she talking about the situation with Japan and just not saying it?
I don't know. I can't read her mind. But what I do know is that Janet Napolitano has access to more information than any one of us can even fathom. And the thing that I think probably precipitated her departure was a feeling of being utterly overwhelmed by what she does know. And we have a serious situation that we will be facing very soon with what's going on with Fukushima. And not only that, we have other serious situations going on. She is privy to information that very few people on the planet have.
Yes.
And I think that she probably felt that she had reached the boundary of what she could do without full disclosure. And therefore, because she is an honorable and an authentic woman, she felt that the best thing for her to do was to step away. And I understand why she did that. I personally could not have done that. I think I would have gone down kicking and screaming.
Yes.
But I think that she just felt, because she is was in the upper echelon, in the the highest tier of information.
Oh, she had access to everything. Yes.
Everything. And I think that she finally just reached the tipping point for her, because she's a very sensitive, extremely intelligent woman. And I think if she stepped away the way that she did, she probably feels that she can do more good in the private sector, and that there will be a need for those in the private sector to step up.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I have so much respect for her, and I liked her a lot, but they didn't even replace her, and that was what was strange. I have something that I can share with you about that, but I really should not share that on the open airwaves right now. Okay,
okay. But do contact me personally, and I'll explain.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to let Aunt Joan get through, and hopefully I'll get back on before the show's over, because there's a lot more questions. And thank you both so much.
You're welcome, dear.
You're welcome. Bye, Suze.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, Amnon.
Hey.
We have Aunt Joan?
No, we don't have anybody. I don't know if that's Aunt Joan that keeps calling and I'm hanging up on. I asked her what's the last 4 digits of her phone, but apparently she's not in the chat. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to answer now, and we'll see who it is.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh, it's Aunt Joan.
Oh.
Hi,
Hi, Karen. How are you?
I'm great.
Hi.
Andrea's
Hi,
here
Andrea. It's
Hi.
a pleasure to be in the company of both of you.
Oh, thank you, darling, and I'm honored to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Carrie, your father's coming through, and he wants that picture that I got to lower this. That picture that I didn't know where it came from today. The one that he was holding, his cat Tinkerbell.
Right.
He wants you to keep that very close to you.
Okay.
He wants you to really dwell on that picture.
Okay.
And he wants you to keep that picture close to your heart. Okay.
Thank you, Annie. My aunt is extremely gifted also, and when she came up on the journey with me with the show, my father is her brother. That's obviously my father's one of my guardians. And when she calls in the questions, it's like boom. My dad just like goes right through. She could actually feel him. So it's like very, very, everybody's getting like a double whammy here because they get a lot of everything. So just to explain my aunt, she's very much support my career. She's a cancer survivor. She's an amazing grandmother, mother, and she's become my mother, and I'm very blessed. So I just a little bit about Aunt Joan, and she's been through this journey with us and everything. So, praise to her. And your next question, Aunt Joan?
Okay. This question is from BB, and she's saying that her son is overweight and wants to know what sport that she should be encouraging him to participate in, and he's 15 years old.
Well, I'll
Annie?
tell you, I would like to address that if I could. And the reason that I want to address that is because I am one of those people that has, since adolescence, been at war with my own weight. It's up, it's down, it's up again, it's down again. And it is that all weight is emotional baggage. All weight is emotional baggage. If you take nothing else that I said tonight to heart, believe that. All weight is emotional baggage. And as I shed my own, and I gained 30 pounds writing these books because I was a sedentary person. I went from being very active to being, in front of, tethered to my keyboard for 16 hours a day, most days, for the last 5 years. So I know what it's like, and I feel how it weighs me down, and I know that my hidden, suave is down underneath all of it. And so I am slowly but surely working to regain what I feel is my optimal weight, and my most healthy self. And so Carrie's been wonderful in helping me through that, too. We talked about that in Aiken as well, and the frustration that I feel about it. Well, if I'm frustrated at 54 years old, imagine how a teenager feels who is filled with vitality and life and wants to self-express. So there's something that's blocking that from happening. It doesn't matter what the sport is. It doesn't matter. It's not about what sport is going to be the enticement to lose that weight. It's about clearing the emotional pain. Something is causing that. I know what it took out of me and what it gave me to write this story. I know what I went through emotionally, not just myself, my entire family. And clearing that is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. But I would say, and what I would suggest, is for this young person to simply go into a solitary state of walking, just walking and thinking and clearing and cleansing and feeling whole and breathing the air and smelling the flowers and looking up into the sky and counting the steps, and go through a solitary process. And as the whole body, the vessel, starts to change, there will come the enthusiasm of, oh, I want to do this, and now I can.
Exactly. Ditto. I don't even have to. When you soon as Annie started saying that, that's the first thing my grandmother was saying was that it's not about the sport. It's not about, sweetheart, it's not about that. It's about finding what makes him overweight, like Andrea just said. You have to get deep, deep, deep in it. It's not, and those sports are great. I mean, activity's great. I work out, but bottom line is that if you don't get to what's in here, thank you, what's in here, then you're not going to fix anything that's around down here. It all comes together. It all is in check, And might I also suggest therapy? Might I also suggest a nutritionist? Thank you. Aaron said definitely a nutritionist. There's a metabolic, there's a thyroid condition. There's something wrong with your son's thyroid. You have underactive thyroid. You need to go get that checked. Erin said that, and that would help him tremendously. So, anything to add
And
to
make
that,
sure
Andrea?
that they run all the tests, not
All
just
of
the
them.
simple, inexpensive thyroid test. Make sure that they do a Chem 7 CBC.
There you
Because
go.
I'll tell you, I had an underactive thyroid for years and years of my life, and my doctor didn't detect it until 15 years ago.
See? I know. I tell them all the time, and Aaron's like, make sure you get the. And sometimes he'll tell me the test to tell them, but you can't just get the one version of it. We have to get the whole thing done because there's always something else that could be going on. So
Yes,
Andrew's
there is an
completely
underlying
100% right.
factor, and not only that, Carrie, but you know and I know that we are, the highest percentage of what we are as physical vessels is fluid. We are water. We are water-based entities. And we are, and there is a conductivity. There is electrical current that runs through our bodies. And when there is a disturbance in that force, when there is an imbalance in that force, it affects everything. Is this child depressed?
Aunt John,
she didn't say that. She didn't. We'll have to ask her. She, didn't say that he was depressed.
Because that is absolutely the primary symptom of underactive thyroid.
Correct.
And I'll tell you, one of the ways that you can actually adjust the thyroid yourself without any medication is by becoming active, by literally transmuting the molecules in your body and changing your own physical structure so that you become a fat-burning machine, so that, nutrition is part of it, water and ingesting more water, not an over amount, but certainly something that's healthy. A lot of people that suffer with what he's suffering with are not cleansing their system. They are not drinking enough water. And that doesn't mean Coca-Cola, and it doesn't mean coffee. It means water.
Yes.
So he's very, very sensitive.
He's very, very sensitive also. That's what he said. He's very, very sensitive.
Yeah, well, and that's a big part of the emotional disturbance. My sense of it is that this is primarily emotional disturbance. And this is someone who is hurt by everything, probably an empath.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. This is great. And your next question, Aunt John?
Okay, is from Annette, and she said, "Can you please tell me, will my son keep his present job, or will he be laid off?"
I have no clue. Carrie, that's yours.
Yeah, that was for Carrie. I'm sorry.
Now, my dad said that he will be laid off, unfortunately, but however, there will be a job from the site from that layoff. There's only to start a new beginning. So, and he said something about a mechanical industry. Something going to be a transition's going to happen, and something else is going to be done in order to make that happen for him. And he's got an amazing aura. Thank you. And my grandmother said he has an amazing way of presenting himself. And he has to just find the courage to do other things now. He needs to move forward. And that's what we want to say. And your next question, Aunt Joan?
Okay, this is from Green-Eyed Lady.
Yep.
And I'm assuming this is for Andrea. And she says that she has a haunted ranch, which she was going to have cleansed before she sells it someday. And she said that she heard you say that yours could not be cleansed. Should I not cleanse mine before I sell it?
Well, that's absolutely entirely up to her. It depends on if the presence that she senses is malignant or benign. If she has a relationship with this presence, if that presence is there with purpose and reason to offer her enlightenment, to help her through her own personal transition, or if this is just someone who was attached in life to the property and still believes that it is essentially their own. I don't do anything with dispelling the spirits. I don't do anything like that because it's too convoluted for me. I don't do investigations because I'm so surrounded myself that I skew the results and I bring with me to an investigation. And Lee Brown can attest to this. It's just too convoluted for me. So I don't really have an answer for her per se. I think that she needs to trust her own instincts and her own intuition around that. But I will say that for me, and I'm only speaking for myself, my interaction with spirits starting at the age of 12 was a blessing in my life. And once I accepted and embraced the spirits, I found that my fear completely and utterly dissipated, and I don't feel like my sense of it is that there's nothing there that is oppressive in any way, and that she should probably, I'll give her the same advice that our dear friend Sam Olafson gave us when we moved into the farm. When in doubt, do nothing.
Correct. That's exactly what I was going to say. My father goes, do nothing. Just when you're in doubt, do nothing. There's nothing. And my father says that there's, the entity that's there is just, it's nothing to be, let go of. If it's choose to be there and it doesn't do anything to harm you in any way, and learn from it, enjoy it, experience from it, and try to go with that. And that's that's what you can do also. Sometimes I always say to everybody, Annie, like, don't jump the gun. If it's not broken, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just let it go. Don't do that. Don't do that. So I would say the same thing with Andrea. I definitely would. And Andrea, do you have you have another question?
Yeah, there's two more here.
Okay.
Anna says, "Hi, Carrie. I'm worried about my brother Rob. What is going to happen to him, and can I help him?"
Thank you, Aaron. Ron's not taking care of himself. Ron has a condition called and he has a problem with his heart. The problem with his heart that he has is that irregular heartbeat, and Ron doesn't take care of himself. Ron needs to understand that. Oh wow. And then he's got a vascular problem. Oh, okay. So if Ron would just take care of himself more often and get himself to a doctor or get himself to someone that could to heal and do all the things he needs to. Thank you. Don't do all the things you do. He'll be okay. It's just that Ron needs to help Ron, Annie. Ron needs to help Ron. And
that's true of all of us. We're all responsible for our own health and well-being. All of us are. And until we claim responsibility for the part that we play in our illness, the illnesses tend to recur.
Right. Absolutely. And your next question, Aunt Joan?
Okay, it's from Maria, Minnesota. And she said her question is about her love life. She keeps on finding a lot of Mr. Wrongs. Will I ever find Mr. Right, and do you know his name?
Well, my father says that you always find Mr. Wrongs because you're looking beneath instead of looking forward. Thank you. That is that the men that you are choosing are not of what you're supposed to be. And I'm just going to say and throw it out there. I mean, this is like probably, there's a gentleman that's by the name of Ryan, and he needs to be a part of your life. But until you clean yourself up, basically, until you understand that you're amazing and that you're beautiful and that your everything is about you is just wonderful, and you get out of that shell and you pull that wall down, and you get out of that certain mode that you're so thank you. My father said it came from you. It stemmed from when you were like teenager years. Like you always settle. Stop settling. You don't need to settle. He will come forward to you, but you need to work on what is important inside of you, because you're a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful person, but you need to bring positivity and detox yourself, because if you don't, you're just going to keep on bringing this wrong. What makes right, what makes wrong, I don't judge, they don't judge. So when you mean by wrong man, thank you. My father says there's really not a lot of wrong out there. It's about what is balanced and what the spirit guides and what the universe wants for you. And some people it takes years and years and years to find a partnership. And some people actually are destined to just not be and just live their life and do among themselves and be among themselves. And, and I understand you want to be loved, and I understand my grandma, you're lonely. Well, get a pet, rescue an animal, do something in order to make you happy. The more critters, the better. I don't know what else to say about that. Annie?
The law of attraction is an immutable law of the universe. Like attracts like. So if you're attracting somebody into your life over and over again that seems to be the same dysfunctional personality, you might as well go stand in front of a mirror and take a look at yourself, because that's what you're attracting. And until you change what you see in that mirror and take personal responsibility, I am from the Emerson School of Self-Reliance. Until you take personal responsibility, you will continue to attract what you see in that mirror. And until you decide what you really essentially are, which is beauty, and, I say, be the light you seek.
Right. Amen. Exactly. Is there any more questions, Aunt Joan?
No, I had my 5, but I just want to say something real quick. Andrea, you said something earlier, which I stand by to this day. When I was going through my journey with breast cancer, I always stood by let go and let God. And I still say that to this day, and that's what people really have to believe in at this time. What's going on in our world is let go and let God.
Hey, exactly. Amen.
All right. Okay,
Thank
honey.
you.
Bye.
Love
And
you.
bye, Andrea. It's been a pleasure.
Lovely, dear. Lovely.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, we're coming around.
Well, Susiani's on. Hold on.
All right, but it's 9:20.
Oh, well.
All right, and Andrea, do you want to continue? Are you tired, or do you want to? You
know how much coffee I have ingested? I am self-medicating on this end.
I'm
practically taking the
four
coffee
more minutes.
Intravenously. So I'm fine to go. I'm fine. But, I do want to tell your audience, I don't do what you do. I have my own insights and I have my own abilities, but they are separate and distinct from yours. You are truly gifted in ways that I would never pretend to be. And so if I have anything to offer, that's coming from my third eye. That's coming from my sense and my knowing of human nature. And I truly do know and understand human beings. And we are a dysfunctional mess on the whole. We are. So my comments should be taken from that frame of reference. Whereas, you have guides that speak directly through you. And one of the things that I love so much when I talk with you is that, something will come out of your mouth and then you take just a split second, just a moment to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And you live in gratitude. And if I had a suggestion for everyone who's out there listening, it would be to develop that sense of ongoing gratitude. And also, I think that it is very healthy for each and every one of us to self-empower, to use positive self-talk. I was a counselor for 10 years before I walked away from the job that I loved, walked away from my theater company, put my critters and everything I owned in a U-Haul, and drove from Rhode Island to Georgia to be with my family, to be completely and utterly surrounded by my family so that I could tell our story in the most authentic way possible, literally verbatim in many passages from the person in my family that was relaying that story to me. And that was a quantum leap of faith that I took. And I'm not saying that there weren't moments where it was a little scary, because I was walking away from everything that I knew. And if there's one thing that human beings hate, it's change. And I use that word deliberately, the word hate. The only thing constant in the universe is change, and yet it is the thing that we fight against most. And so what I say is it's time for humanity, and particularly for women, to self-empower and to empower the children that they have influence over, and to let them know that they are a manifestation of God consciousness, that they are wholly, essentially spiritual beings, and that they have the power to change their lives at any given moment with a decision and an intention.
Right. Exactly. Amen. Exactly. So what are we going to do here?
Ask Anna if it's okay for Susiana.
Can Susiana ask her a couple minutes, Amnon? Is she there?
I'm here.
All right, so lay it on us, baby.
Okay. Candy B has a question. She said, Carrie, could you you know about the situation, Carrie. She said, could you give her insight on her house situation? Is it all still calm, and is the warm feeling still there?
Absolutely. You're done. You're done. Now the next journey tomorrow is to set sail on the new beginnings. And we need to bring, thank you. My father, you need to bring that little girl back. October 11th is the great time. You have too much room in your house. You have too much room in your house. It's too big. But now it's clear. Your house is clear. And everything that we did and everything that went on there, and that we were able to read and be a part of, it was unbelievable. But the journey has begun, my love. Candy, you got this. And the next question, dear?
The next one is from Mimi. She lost her dad 14 years ago. Does he have anything to tell her?
Yeah, the replacement for your life. Thank you. The replacement. Oh my God, my cousin he never talks. Yeah, you're a beautiful, beautiful woman, but you have to replace the two foundations in your life that is ultimately making you go crazy. I don't want a nervous breakdown to happen. Thank you. I don't want the nervous breakdown to happen. So you need to either meditate, learn to gravitate, learn to make, because he wants to try to let in and come in more. And if you learn to meditate and you learn to, like Andrea said to one other client that a viewer, you need to just sit there, relax, breathe, and allow him to come through. Okay, because there's a lot of emotional ties here that need to be bonded too. He says he's sorry. He's so sorry. He's so sorry. He said he could have done differently. He could have just done things so differently. But on the other side, the forgiveness is that he wants to help you and help you gain your life back and help you pursue and help you do things better and but it's time for you. So you have to learn how to either meditate and deep breath in, deep breath, and just relax. Annie?
Well, I would agree with all of that, and I know nothing of this situation.
Yeah.
I'm not being spoken to directly regarding it, but
Right.
what I will reiterate is that they're not really gone. And
No.
I just recently, and I hope this is helpful and not a diversion, but I just recently made contact with a young man up in northern New York, and he was desperate to be in touch with his father. Right. And all I said to him, is go sit at the place in your home where you had conversations with your father, and
Right.
get very quiet and get very still, and if you drank beer together, then put 2 of them on the coffee table. If you drank tea together, put 2 cups of tea on the coffee table. Create the environment that you were most comfortable in when communicating with your loved one in person, in the physical vessel, and begin the conversation. And the conversation is telepathic in nature, but the best way in your human vessel form for you to communicate is to speak aloud and say what you need to say and clear the air and express yourself fully to that person. And there is no question that you will receive an answer. And this young man did exactly as I told him to do, and he sat down on the sofa in his living room, and for 2 weeks prior to that, the light bulb in his closet was not working, and he couldn't figure it out. I mean, he knew electricity. He had changed the bulb 3 times. He checked the wiring. There was no reason for that light to be out, and that light was out, and it would not work. And he started the conversation with his father, and suddenly the light came on in his closet. And my immediate response to him was, "Let there be light, baby." There
God
it is.
bless.
There it is, and he gave him that sign. And they will give you a sign. They will find a unique and creative and familiar way to let you know that they are there and you are being heard. And all you need to do is believe.
Well, absolutely. And one more question, Suziani?
Yes, it's from Eve, and she wants to know if her dog cookie business will be a success.
Only if she wants it to be. If she wants it to be a success, I'm telling you, there is just nothing like persistence, tenacious persistence. you don't stop until the job is done.
Absolutely. And you could surround yourself. My grandmother said you could also surround yourself around people that are going to be actively a part of your journey. Do not surround yourself around people of a negative nature. The journey that you have, it needs a special, something token of a special, like a similar, like a ginger snap, something, because my grandmother says you need to have something like a lemon butter cookie. There has to be something of a signature that makes people understand and know where you come from, because you're such a big, oh my God, she's such a big animal lover, and she's just a great person. Thank you. So this is what you need to do, a signature item of it too. You need to like put more out there, and you definitely need to market more. You need to really pound the streets with it. But like Andrea said, it's persistence. You don't stop. You don't give up. We were talking about before. I started my career. I went public last year. I was scared. I just dropped my job. I just went. I mean, I've always had the ability. I've done it for years. On the other, because of raising my children. But I just said it was. I was told it was time, and that was it. And like with Annie, this is all right. So with you, you can feel the same way. I mean, you decided to do the business. It's time, and just go for it, and don't stop. Never stop. Never. And always believe you got this. Don't ever stop. Don't let somebody ever derail you from it. Okay? Because I want you to be completely successful. So let us know how successful you are. And if you want to put your name in chat, you can also put it and put your, and we can see if we have somebody that would actually enjoy to be a part of your business too. So, and then like I said, in closing, my website is www.carriepsychiccafe.com. Everybody had an amazing opportunity of hearing Andrea Perrin tonight. I am just, Andrea, I am blessed. I am honored. I've been taken to a whole new level knowing you, loving you. I want to thank you so much for giving my viewers the opportunity to hear this journey, to know about it. And I'm hoping that everybody listened tonight. Okay? Because you need to understand what this journey is. You need to understand how, even if you have to replay this whole show again, listen to it, please, because the journey has begun. And is there any, in closing, for what you have, or anything that you would like to say, Andrea, to the world?
What I have to say to you and to my dear sweet Thomas, and to all of those out in cyberspace that are listening to that, is I love you all merely because you exist. I love you all.
You're amazing. You're amazing. So I want to thank you so much for doing this with me and sharing you're sharing everything about who you are and what the journey is, and also helping out the viewers tonight. This was an amazing, rare treat. And I hope you all know how blessed you really are tonight. Listen, I do a show special. Not many people got to get things done. So what we're going to do is, if you go to www.carriepsychiccafe.com tonight, we're going to throw what's called the 5-minute. We're going to do a 10-minute reading today, and the special word of today is Andrea, obviously. And we're gonna do that for we're gonna give you 10 minutes for 35, and that's only today's show special because there were so many people that didn't get their questions answered, and we want you to get them answered. And again, thank you, Andrea. I will be seeing Andrea in Rhode Island. I can't wait. And I'm also going to entertain coming and coming on your journey there. And thanks to Amnon, thanks to Tom, and thanks to Nick for doing anything, and thanks to my staff. Andrea, I love you, and the journey's begun. Thank you so much for everything, and I will talk to you soon. And is there any anything else to say?
Just I welcome everybody. If you want to have a really nice place to just go meditate, hop onto my Facebook page, my personal page, and also the book and author page, House of Darkness, House of Light, and subscribe, because Margie and I tend to our cyberspace lovingly, and that is very often a place where you can just go and listen to beautiful music, or read lovely quotations, or see some of the most gorgeous photography of our beautiful, incredible planet. It is time to worship the Mother.
Right. Exactly. Amen. Thank you so much, Andrea. You have a beautiful night. I will speak to you very soon. Everybody, you please need to go over to down to her first the Facebook page, and I want to say thank you to Margie too, that's in the room. All right, but again, if you wanted to, please, in the closing, my website's www.carriepsychiccafe.com. You can click above my head tonight. You have that special 10 minutes for 35, and the special word tonight for that is Andrea. Again, I want to thank Andrea. I want to thank everybody else. Remember, we're not going anywhere. This is the journey. We've been here a year. You can't stop us. We're only going forward. And anybody else that wants to go to my website, you can click on testimonials and you could actually listen to one, or you can read them. But I want everybody to know that every day is a new day. Every day, every moment is a new moment. And you need to allow love. You need to allow the light. And you need to understand that life is full of wonderful, wonderful, positive things. And we need you to understand that. Have a good night.
Yes, find the joy. Find it.
Yeah.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays, 9 a.m. till noon. Carrie's Psychic Cafe with Carrie Silkowski, Sundays, 8 till 9 p.m. Health In with Debbie Bruck, Mondays, 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays, 1 till 2 p.m. Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month from 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by